Willis. I'm the president of Senior Care Alliance. Just have a few announcements before I talk about our awesome speaker that we have today. First off, what I want to say is what an awesome conference we had last month. And I want to recognize the conference team. If you're on the conference team, raise your hand. I know all those folks over there are. Jessica was, Cindy was. So we worked hard for that event, and it was, I think, a real good success. I have a few statistics on that. Not a whole lot, but we had 158 people attend our conference, and we offered 698 CEUs were distributed at the conference. Our survey results were 96% favorable. Actually, they were all favorable because our lowest score on our surveys was 92%. And I had somebody tell me that our conference was better than the statewide Arkansas Hospital Association conference. So anyway, kudos to y'all. The other thing is membership dues. I have some membership applications. There's probably some on the main table. But if you're not a member and you'd like to be a member, we ask that you pay your dues for next year by January. So you don't have to pay for the last 2 meetings of this year. But we do need our membership updated in January. And we have a coffee talk on November 11th. It's going to be in Charleston. Kudos to the Coffee Talk team too. Y'all did a great job this year. And our next general meeting is November 19th, and it's going to be with Heart of Hospice. So just a few statistics about doing a presentation for leadership in Crawford County on ageism. And I learned a lot this past week about discrimination against the elderly population. And I just wanted to give y'all a few statistics because everybody in here works with older adults. 18% of Arkansas individuals in Arkansas are now 65 and older. There's been a shift in demographics. Probably most of y'all know that. There's now more older people than there are children. Between the years of 2020 and 2024, the people aged 65 and older grew 13%. Just in that 2020 to 2024. So we're all in the business together. Most of us work with the older adults, and so I thought that was interesting statistics that I found out. The last thing I want to talk about is our member resource directory. When we do these, they're good for 2 years. So next year we'll be doing a new member resource directory. Most of you, I think, in here have seen that. There's ads throughout there, and so if you're interested in making an ad or doing anything about the member resource directory, please see one of the board members. And shameless plug, Crystal Lujan, which is sitting right over there, Senior Care Baptist, and Wansley Harrison will be doing Breaking the Cycle of Isolation, Supporting Older Adults. And that's going to be at my place on November 12th, and I will have these out for anybody that would like to have them. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our awesome speaker that I've heard speak before, and she's fantastic. And really, really welcome Stevie, who's a speech language pathologist here at, I almost said Health South, at Encompass, and she's going to have some really good words of wisdom with us about fall prevention. So please welcome Stevie.
Hi guys, so I'm Stevie. I'm our lead speech language pathologist. You guys have a flyer on your table that is going to go over the exact same stuff that I'm going to talk about today. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I can send you this flyer if it's something you'd like to send out to your staff as well, or if you'd like to make copies. So pretty much I wanted to break fall prevention up between 3 different populations because we work with 3 very different populations: the general population, the cognitively impaired, and the caregiver population, because fall prevention also comes from a caregiver standpoint. and should be considered different for those who are cognitively intact and those who are cognitively impaired, such as dementia, neurocognitive disorder, etc. So for our general population, a lot of these are ones we're really aware of, and as employers or as employees in a household, we can train and encourage these techniques. The primary one being establishing clear pathways. So 6.2 to 13% of individuals over 65 have hoarding tendencies, where they start keeping a lot of stuff in tight spots all over the place. And it's great if we can encourage the caregivers that we are employing in homes to start helping them manage that hoarding. When we start creating tight walkways, we start having a hard time getting walkers, wheelchairs, and canes through, and they start to fall more often. If that patient does not have good ambulation or gait, they start to trip over those items too, and we see them in hospitals more often. In addition, well-lit walkways. I do a lot of recommendations for battery-powered and chargeable, sticky, they're like spotlights, but you can buy them on Amazon. So you can put them in doorways, you can put them next to the bed. A lot of patients when they wake up, or individuals, they don't think about turning on a light to go to the bathroom. They're in a hurry, they don't want to be incontinent. You can encourage staff or your employees, or encourage your family members, purchase these things. They're like 12 bucks, they charge, and they last for hours and days. And you can have that, again, by the bed, by the door, so when they get up, it's a well-lit walkway. But our vision is 30% of our balance and our supports, and so we want to make sure we create a well-lit area for those individuals. Physical fitness, again, something that we can be encouraging is home health, outpatient therapy, etc. We need to be continuing to manage hip flexors and hip abductors. If we have weak legs, we're going to have weak walking, and then weak walking means falls. So that means encouraging sit to stands as much as possible. There's a lot of benefit to just practicing sitting down and not using our arms to stand up, and using just the muscles in our legs to do such an action. Any staff member can recommend that. Anybody can supervise that activity. Or just marching. You can even hold on to something and encourage that patient to march. And again, we're working all the muscles related to being able to stand and walk safely. But a lot of people don't maintain physical fitness. As they decline, they start to see more falls. Eyeglasses. We recently had a patient who told us, I don't keep my prescription up to date because I never know when I'm gonna die, so what's the point? And I was like, that's really not okay. Again, vision is 30% of your balance, and balance is why we fall. Encourage those patients when they notice that their eyes are changing, get them to a doctor, get them somewhere they can get that modified. If they can't see what's in front of them, then they are going to fall over what's in front of them. So something to be very mindful of. I also included the 5-second mobility screen. We encourage that and push that here at Encompass heavily, and it really helps us manage our falls with our patients and with our caregivers. So what that is, it's in the pink sticky note down below. You teach your staff essentially to have that person help that patient sit up on the edge of the bed and wait 5 seconds. If that individual is able to support themselves for 5 seconds, then they're ready to advance to standing. If they can support themselves standing for 5 seconds, they're not losing their balance and they're not wobbling, we want to have them march in place for 5 seconds again, seeing how they do with mobility in place. If they're doing fine, then let's keep walking. But a lot of people view getting up and going as a very quick action, and with our 65 plus population, orthostatic hypertension is a big problem, and we end up getting up too fast, that blood pressure tanks, and we fall. So teaching not only your employees, but also having your employees teach your cognitively your cognitively intact patients to do that little moment screen with themselves can really keep them safe off the floor and just aware of what they are able to do. So 5-second mobility screen works for any kind of patient with anybody with them. Of course, ditch the lift chairs. They're incredibly convenient and they're great because they stand for you, but what they do is they also don't let your legs work. If a chair is moving you upright, then your leg muscles are not moving you upright, so then how are you keeping the physical fitness in your legs? You're not. So chairs are great, but they shouldn't be causing you to stand. You should be using your own muscles. And of course, getting rid of the rugs, which everybody knows, get rid of the throw rugs. We also encourage the solid-soled shoes and not the little Walmart flip-flops, not Crocs. The amount of falls I've seen with Crocs recently is ridiculous. Not sturdy. Making sure there's traction. A lot of patients don't like wearing shoes because it hurts their feet, there's a wound, there's swelling. So if you're able to coordinate with someone that can help find shoes that better fit that patient's foot, we also help manage fall prevention that way too. So remembering that falls start with our balance and our ability to be grounded to the floor. Training your balance with therapy, outpatient therapy and home health. Incorporate balance training. Encourage patients, if they're worried about their balance, they need to be seeking outpatient or home health PT to be working on that balance, because the more we can maintain balance, the longer we stay upright on our own, we reduce that risk of falls. And then slick fabrics. I don't know why, but women's like night clothes as they get to like 65 plus are nothing but like slide sheets. And so you end up sitting on a couch, on a chair, on a bed, you slide right off. So train your staff to kind of go, hey, you know, that dress is lovely, but may not be the safest for us. Let's think about our fabrics in our closet, because it can really make a difference in their safety when they're sitting on a surface. And again, that whole yellow sticky note applies to just general population, but also to the cognitively impaired. With the cognitively impaired, you do want to be kind of the brain for them, because a lot of times their safety awareness and their ability to be insightful into how their actions can cause falls is not there anymore. So what you want to think about is pre-plan their falls. Go into their rooms, encourage your staff, encourage your family members to go into a room or into the home and pre-plan what could make this patient fall and get rid of it now. Do not expect that patient to have the insight to be able to change their room on their own. Do not expect them to be able to change their trajectory as they're walking, because they're too busy focused on the action and not thinking about their environment. So it's kind of up to us as a caregiver, as an educator, to be the one that does that modification. When they're getting up from a surface, there's a lot of difficulty with softer surfaces, as they don't always have the cognition to comprehend how to coordinate legs, arms to get out of squishy seats or squishy couches. There's a lot of really cool stuff on Amazon for supports that you can slide underneath cushions now that add handles or extra support under a cushion. You can train your staff on how to find those on Amazon and recommend them, or how to show them to family. So making sure we're kind of teaching patients how to safely stand up from all surfaces and giving them a lot of cues. I do a lot here at the hospital with visual indicators for where to sit. When somebody is cognitively impaired, they don't have the attention to always know what they're doing in the moment. So teaching your staff, teaching your families, hey, when you guys are telling somebody to go from a wheelchair or a walker to a couch cushion, pat that, indicate that. A lot of times in the bathroom, it's really beneficial for dementia patients especially to actually start incorporating color on toilet seats, because it allows them to locate that surface easier. You can actually buy like red and blue toilet seat covers on Amazon, but because of the vision changes with Alzheimer's, it's very beneficial for them to be able to locate that specific cushion. Or encourage family to use cushion covers, fabrics, things of that nature. We also want to think about the safest walking equipment. So a lot of people think that those four-wheel Winnie walkers that have the seat are like the best thing in the world. But when you have a cognitively impaired patient that can't manage how fast it rolls and manage the brakes, that may not be the safest. It might be the most convenient for us because there's always a seat with that patient, but that person may not be able to manage it. So think about also, just because there's a seat doesn't mean it's the best option. It might be a standard walker that is silver, and it may just need to be something where we downgrade that device. Physical fitness, again, these guys need more encouragement to exercise because they really don't want to. So again, encouraging outpatient therapy, home health therapies to work on the leg strengthening. And then of course, simple and direct instructions. You want to make sure that your staff is thinking about how that person understands language. So if your staff is going to give, I don't know what happened over there. If your staff is giving a lot of instruction at once, I want you to get up, I want you to turn, I want you to sit here, I want you to get up and go into the kitchen. That's too much for somebody with a cognitive impairment. And so we want to be thinking about simple, single step, very direct, because it all starts with what they hear and what they understand. And from there, it's how their body moves. So it's up to us as caregivers, as educators of our own staff, to make sure they understand simple, concrete, and direct. The green sticky note is for us as the caregiver and for your employees as the caregivers. Number one thing is proper gait belt placement on a patient. You want to make sure that gait belt's being used when you're transferring. Pants are not gait belts. Shoulders and elbows are not gait belts either. They are going around the waist. They are tight enough to be secure with 2 finger space, and you're using them to help you have leverage, but it really helps with staff and caregiver safety as well as patient safety and stability when we use those. It takes 2 seconds to put a gait belt on. It is not inconvenient. It is for their safety, so it's really encouraged if you guys can do that. We also teach caregivers here proximity. Stay close, block knees. A lot of people want to give a whole bunch of space to the patient when they're transferring, but it's important to be close to them in the event that we lose our balance. You can be there to immediately correct it. But if you can keep their knees blocked with your own knees, or you can just be close enough that if anything happens, you can grab onto them better, you can establish better transfer support for that individual. We have kind of talked about directing transfers for the impaired, but this also works for general population. Break it down into 3 steps. They just need to stand, pivot, and sit. So if you're teaching a family member or you're teaching a new staff member and they think that transfers are a bit too complicated because there's all these steps, it's really only 3. They need to stand, they need to turn, they need to sit down. So teaching it in a broken up way and communicating it in a broken up way can help everybody understand what they're supposed to be doing. And again, if you have somebody that you're worried about getting up and falling and you have to be doing laundry or doing dishes, because again, you are, we have the pads here and we have the gait belts and they're great, or the belts, but you can buy those pads online. Set them up under a cushion so that your staff feels confident knowing they're seated, they're safe, I can go do what I'm doing, and if they get up, you get that alarm and you can go address it instead of having to worry about the silent falls when that individual who's confused gets up and wanders around looking for their helper. And then last thing is use the recommended device by PT. If the PT is recommended, again, like a standard walker, let's not try to get them to just walk to the bathroom. Let's use that device. There's a reason, but it helps establish safety and also consistent training with the device, especially if that patient is impaired, if you guys are constantly using it over and over and over again. So that, I did that in less than 20 minutes. That is all the options that I have on here. There's definitely more for fall prevention, keeping the floors dry and managing meds appropriately, thinking about blood pressure. There's a lot of things you can do, but a big part of it, I truly believe, is making sure the home environment is safe and the patient's body is ready for aging. If they're not physically capable for the walking and the transfers and everything they have to do the rest of their lives, they're gonna keep falling. So strength is truly the number one thing. Encouraging exercise routines, home health programs, any kind of exercise management where they can keep working on that hip flexor, hip abductor is a great way to keep them off the floor and out of hospitals. And again, also training your staff that cognitive impairment needs a little bit more understanding and a little bit slower cues. When we go too fast, we create more confusion, we create more falls. So it's very, very simple stuff. That 5-second mobility screen hopefully helps you guys out as you are training, again, your family and your staff in your own companies. So yes, thank you guys. I am done.
If anybody wants to reach out for a cheat sheet on that 5-second mobility screen,
Yes.
signature, reach out to Stevie or Jessica over here, or Stevie or myself.
Thank you, Stevie. Awesome job as always. I don't think I actually thanked Encompass. Did I do that when I was talking? I had it written down. Well, it's that older adult brain, I guess, maybe. The food actually, Cindy, was wonderful. Very good. Thank you so very much. Thank you for Encompass for sponsoring and speaking. You'll have an opportunity to do that next year too, if you'd like. Can we have the Encompass staff stand up? Okay, there you go. appreciate you guys. So we'll go ahead and start with any announcements that anybody has or anything they'd like to tell about what's going on at their facility. So, want to go first? Oh, you got your mouth full. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Cassie Barnes. I'm from the Blossoms in Van Buren. I'm a long-term care and skilled facility. I have VA contracts of 129 beds. We're hosting our first annual truck or treat Saturday from 4:30 to 8 at Bethesda and Van Buren Church.
Hello, I'm Lori Ramsey. I'm with the City of Fort Smith. So we're not your typical members, but we are here to reach out to our Fort Smith residents and especially our senior citizens, and we rely on you guys to help us with that a lot. The city has some low-income programs that we want to make sure people are aware of. Number one, Project Concern. Residents who receive a water bill from the City of Fort Smith can qualify for a discount on their water, sewer, and solid waste. That's 50% off of their water and sewer bill and 25% off the solid waste portion. And income limits are actually 200% of the current federal poverty guidelines, so it's, a lot of people think that they might not qualify, but they would. So if, you can go online, fortsmithar.gov/project concern, or call 479-784-2262 to have an application mailed or to ask questions. We also want to encourage residents, maybe they can't get out as much, they might want to sign up for Gov Delivery. You can get updates from the city directly to their email or phone, so they wouldn't miss any important news. And we also try to educate people about the consent decree. If you haven't heard of that, it's an agreement between the City of Fort Smith, the EPA, and the Department of Justice to help reduce sewer overflows in our city. So we try to teach people about fats, oils, and grease, what not to put down the drain. If any of you guys have a facility and the residents have access to a kitchen, you might want us to come out and do a presentation or give you some handouts to give to the residents to help educate them, because it will save you money, obviously, if you don't have those problems in your sewers. And also, if you're going out to individuals, we have another low-income program called SET. If they have a defect in their private service line that's allowing rainwater to get into the city's sewer system, then they could qualify for help getting their sewer line fixed. So that's a lot, but you can call, again, fortsmithar.gov, or you can call 784-2262 for more information.
I'm Sarah with Home Instead, and I was just going to let y'all know we are sharing some grants with Area Agency, and so if y'all have anybody that needs transportation, that they have Alzheimer's, they need a caregiver grant, the family members taking care of them, there are grants available, and so it's very easy to get it done. So have them call us, and we can, every grant that they qualify for, we will make sure and submit them for to see if they can get that money back. So it's really neat. Also, we're going to be doing Be a Santa to a Senior, so you'll start seeing our trees go up in different places. Mercy Rehab's put one up for us. Metasave on Zero Now, they're putting one up for us, and then the credit union over by Brokenhill, or Burtfield, sorry, over in that area, and then one in Van Buren. And so we will have trees up to be a Santa to a Senior. It's elderly people through the clearinghouse and some of our Medicaid clients that need help through the holidays. So be looking for those. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya with Elite Home Health. We provide skilled services in the home, physical therapy, occupational, speech, nursing. I just wanted to say a little side note off of what Stevie had to say. My grandma has dementia and my grandpa's her full-time caregiver. And at home, he was having a really hard time getting her to do things. So she came here to Encompass and spent some time with the great staff here, Stevie being one of them. And they really did educate him on that step-by-step process. Now I can't keep him at home because, you know, before it was like, come on, we're leaving to go get in the car. Now it's like, I need you to stand up. I need you to do this. I mean, he has learned all these different little tricks and stuff to be able to take care of her. So now he's confident that he can take her out. You know, one time I had to bring her in at midnight. There was at a rope in. I'm like, let's go, Grandma. We got to go home. But it really did improve their quality of life just by educating my grandpa on the level of dementia she was at and at different things that he could use and tools that he could use to be able to give him a better quality of life. So that's just all I have to say.
Hey, I'm Brittany with Heart of Hospice and Palliative Care. Any of you guys have those lift chairs that Stevie was talking about? You can donate it to our hospice patients. We're always looking for those. I wanted to mention too the water department, just because we had a situation, a patient discharging from the hospital, and her water got shut off the day before she was the hospice eligible and needing to go home on hospice. And I emailed Lori and I'm like, please help a girl out. What can we do? And we got that lady's water turned back on that day, and all was well. So they are a huge resource for our community, and please know that you can reach out to her with any questions. There's like some things you have to have in line, such as do they rent, do they buy, but I just gave her the address. I didn't even give her the patient's name. I'm like, this address, what can I do to get the water back on? And we got it worked out. So thank you so much for that. But one thing I want to mention, our next general meeting is at our office at Heart of Hospice next month, and the topic is general inpatient care for hospice. And we know that Mercy closed their unit a while back, and there's been confusion on what's available in the community for those patients that are in this symptom crisis. So I encourage you guys to come and kind of learn what that criteria looks like. It is a little bit difficult sometimes, but we're happy to have you there and learn. And I have Dr. Shorier on the books to come and talk, so it's nice to always put a face to the provider that's doing the care too. So if you guys have any questions about palliative or hospice care, my number is 479-431-8801.
I'm Candace with Home Helpers. I think I know every single person in here, I believe. One of the things I wanted to mention and capitalize on what Stevie and them do, and I agree that they do a wonderful job of getting people to their max capacity to be able to go home and maintain that. One of the things that Home Helpers does is we help with maintaining those activities of their mind and body. So we're not doing the skilled services, but we are there to remind people, hey, you know, they sent you this sheet that's got all these little exercises you need to do, you know, just keeping them active, keeping them engaged at home so we don't have readmits, so we're not going through this over and over and over and they're ending up back in the hospital because of frequent falls. So I agree they do a wonderful job. And like Sarah said, we work with the grant departments also. We work with the city to help people. We work with Alzheimer's organization as well. So if there's people out there that need help, there's resources available. And we're happy to help in any way we can to get them connected to those resources. If any of y'all have resources that you know about that maybe Senior Care Alliance doesn't know about and we haven't been informed, if you all would share those with us, and then we can help reach that information, educate the community. Thank you.
Well, I'm Amy Egger, and this is Steve Morris. We're with Advanced Wound Therapy. I've talked to a lot of you already, I think, but Steve works in our Oklahoma territory. So if there's any of you that are on the Oklahoma side and you would like to talk to Steve about what we do, definitely grab him afterwards. But we are a mobile wound care service. And just to tell you a little bit about what makes us a little different from some other companies, back in the spring, we started working with a man by the name of Dr. Chan Hellman, and he founded the Hope Institute. So we actually had a workshop where he came, our whole company was there, and he talked to us about hope. And what we learned is, he really went into the science behind hope, but what we learned is when patients don't have hope, they're less compliant. So if somebody's had a wound for years, they've tried everything, it just never gets better, they're not going to be as likely to manage their blood sugars. They're not going to be as likely to offload and follow the directives that are given to them. But when you can instill just a little bit of hope, then they're more likely to do those things. So we really take that as part of our job when we're out. We're obviously assessing the wound and treating that, but we're also working with them on a personal level to make sure that they have hope and that they can see things will get better. So
yeah, I feel like we're a full service wound care company, so we train all the way to treat. So if any of you all need any kind of training, please get a hold of one of us. We can bring our providers in. We can train. We train people this size, bigger. And a lot of times there's not a lot of wound care training out there, so that's something that we can provide. And even now, just a little thing is we're now on social media. So if you guys would like to learn more about advanced wound therapy, I'd love for you guys to join Instagram if you're on it, or LinkedIn, and just join our advanced wound therapy. We have everything from nutrition tips to wound care tips to really good patient testimonials. So really, really appreciate you guys having us here. So thank you all.
Come on, Ashley, I know you're just dying. First of all, I want to thank you for coming here today. This is a great opportunity for us to showcase the hospital. If you're interested in taking a tour, just connect with one of us as an employee. We all stood up. We'd be more than happy to take you on a tour of the hospital and show you around. Also, thank you, Stevie. You did a great job. So thank you for all that you do upstairs, and you're definitely not highlighted enough. So thank you. The other thing is we are very blessed to have a new CEO with us. I know that Harlow was in here earlier. Not everyone was able to meet him, I'm sure. So I would like to introduce him, and maybe he would like to speak a word or two. Harlow McCall is from the Tulsa area. He came back this direction because this is where his family is. So thank you. Harlow.
I knew nothing. I wasn't hungry. Hey, well, I'm kind of very relaxed. I'm not a very formal person. I may know some of you. I don't know. I was at Summit in Van Buren back in 2009, 2010. And actually next door was my case manager. So I worked when Spark was here. It's kind of sad coming back because walking through those halls, it's not as busy as it used to be, is it? But I left in HMA, I guess, I did not prepare for this, but when I left there with HMA, Houston Sparks, I transferred to South Florida, and then when CHS bought HMA, I decided that we didn't go see eye to eye philosophically, so I jumped ship, came to post-acute care, had no idea what I was getting into at all, had no idea what post-acute care was, let alone the differences in all of them. So I had a very quick learning curve, and I took over our Texarkana Hospital 12 years ago. I opened our Wausau Hospital 3 years ago. And I guess to tell you how I got here is when we lived here before, my youngest daughter and my current wife's youngest daughter became best friends in school, in elementary school. So, and then I'd never even met them. It was my wife, my late wife was friends with her. So my wife passed away in 2019 from cancer, and I was in Texarkana and not planning on doing anything else except what I was doing and getting my kids through school. But out of the blue, the daughters introduced us, and now we've been married for 5 years. I'm not, we've only lived together 3 months of those 5 years. We don't know if we like each other yet. It's still, jury's still out. But anyway, Dawn, who used to be the director of case management at Sparks when I was at Summit, we've known each other for a while, and I knew she would never leave. So I was like, Owasso was the closest I was going to get. It was a 2-hour drive. I had to come home 3 days a week, so it was kind of nice. And I got the phone call back in early July. Dawn called me first before she called anybody else. And so God does work weird, doesn't he? I mean, it's some strange plans, but now I'm here. And I tell you what, I'm really impressed. My brand new hospital, we fit in the first floor here. We opened in Owasso. It's all private rooms, and here it's a busy bee of activity here. And I tell them, like I tell the rest of everybody I've ever met, when it comes to healthcare, it's got nothing to do with bricks and mortar, and everything to do with the people that come in every day. So we've got some good folks, and there's some good folks in this room, and I'm glad to partner with you from here on out, because I'm not going anywhere. Obviously, it took too long to get here. Any questions?
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Well, it's kind of interesting. It was kind of interesting. But my wife teaches, and so the reason why she couldn't move to me is because she was recently divorced, and she couldn't move because she has young children. I shouldn't admit this, but my youngest stepson is as old as my oldest grandson. So there's a little bit of an age difference there. It's okay.
All the men are going, yay, Harlow.
But yeah, she teaches, you might know her, she teaches at Oliver Springs Elementary in Van Buren. Special ed teacher. She's got a special place in heaven. She takes care of the kids that, she loves the kids that a lot of people just put away. And her class scored the highest on the state test for all special ed classes. Because she actually teaches them. So it's kind of good. She makes a bigger difference than I do. All right, well, thank you. Welcome. You're welcome to come back anytime. And look forward to many years. And good job, Stevie.
Ashley, you gonna follow that?
I don't have no dance number or anything to follow with that, don't worry. I'm Ashley with Mercy Rehab, just another option for inpatient rehab. I just can't express enough how great our community is and how we can work side by side with competitors or just whoever we have. It literally takes us all in this room to take care of these patients, like through and through. Sometimes we just give back and forth, we just trade patients, and that's fine. But we do what we can to help these folks. And just a reminder, Senior Care Alliance, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Holly said. We will be electing new board members soon, so if anybody's interested in that, please get with us at this meeting. Any of the board members in the room, get with us if you're interested in being on the board, because we are in a great area right now where we can really truly start helping out the community. We need fresh ideas and we need some new blood, because there's a lot of people stepping down, which is sad to see, just because they're ready for new things, I guess, in their new season. But if you would love to join, reach out to us. We would love to kind of tell you about it, and also just having that family aspect and that community aspect, it's here. And we want to be able to show that more. But if you have any questions or anything, reach out. But if anyone needs a rehab, of course, we have 2 great options in town. And I'm Ashley with Mercy Rehab. Our contact is 479-957-1700. And just a reminder, no referral required, so just call us. Thank you, guys.
I just want to make sure there's nobody else that has any announcements. Okay, I just have a couple of things. I'm also in the Van Buren Chamber, and so I know some of you guys here live in Van Buren, and the Chamber of Commerce has a brand new resource building, and they're gonna be doing their ribbon cutting on October 30th at 9:30. And they're located totally different. They're not downtown. They're 111 North 12th Street. And so I invite you to, if you're in Van Buren or interested in Van Buren business, to come there. I'm from Legacy Heights and Memory Lane. We do independent living and assisted living level 1 and 2. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk about that as well. And any other announcements? No? Thanks Encompass, not Health South, Holly. Sorry, not my story, but I worked here 20 years ago, and I worked for Health South back then for about 10 years. I was originally at Riosa in San Antonio. So anyway, that's why I have a hard time with saying Encompass. So our next meeting is November 19th, Heart of Hospice. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate it.